Mac is back. Yes, Mac Attack is back. How
I was
you
just about
doing,
to say
buddy?
that. Mac Attack.
Mac Attack is back. How are we, lads? Yes, sorry for my disappearance. Just need to take care of a few things for the next couple of weeks as well. I may be here, I may not be here. We'll figure it out. But yeah, but look, it's good. It's always good to talk shit about motorbikes and see what's going on around the world. It has been, yeah, it's been crazy. I think it's what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks since I've done a pod. There's
Yeah.
lots going
Wow.
on. I suppose, yeah. Look, we'll cut right into Balaton Park. Definitely not my favorite racetrack anyway. To watch a race. The sprint race yesterday
Yeah.
was an absolute snooze fest.
Yeah. They
And
should come with coffee and some stimulants. And they give you a ticket.
yeah. It definitely needs a bit of Viagra anyway. That's definitely what I think. But it's one of those circuits. I guess it was built with the best of intentions, but I just don't think it's had the
It's in the
desired
middle of
effect.
a resort, isn't it?
It is, yeah. No, look, it's a lovely place.
Just
Don't
call it a
get me
big
wrong.
track. Ah,
The way I class this track is that it's a brilliant track day class or track to race on,
mhm.
but it's not a racetrack to race on for big bikes. For small bikes, absolutely. Like Moto 3 was good. Moto 2 was okay. Like, I didn't watch all of it because it did get a bit processional, a little bit
Yeah.
boring. Now, like today's race itself, Joe, it wasn't bad. Like, it was great that Mark fucked up in turn two and ran wide a small bit, and you know that made it a little bit more interesting. But like realistically, it was a bit processional again. You always know it's really bad when they're focusing on trying to find battles through the field, and that's what we
Yeah.
saw on TV today, which is at least good because normally they would just keep it on the leaders. But like, I think first to fourth there was 11 seconds. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is far too much. Do you know what I mean? But look, I can't take it away from Mark. Absolutely dominant. What is it now? 226 points clear
Yeah.
of Alex, isn't it? I can't remember. But there's 296 points on the table. Right? Doing the calculations, he could win the world championship. Dun 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 in Misano.
Wow.
Rossi's hometown. Just so you know, lads. Right? So there's no
Ah,
bigger middle finger than that, right? It's like, ooh, Rossi's in the Super. So yeah, so for me, look, it is pretty interesting to see how dominant Mark has been throughout the season, but also the last two races for me have been really interesting to see his riding. So like, he came back from the summer, like he's really relaxed. Do you know what I mean? And you can also see there is something changed in them. In my view, mentally. Do you know what I mean? You can see that. Oh, he's no longer panicking to get back to the front. Do you know what I mean? He's kind of
yes.
sit there
Exactly.
and wait, and very, very different Mark, even from the start of this season. Do you know what I mean? Where he was trying to rush things. On the other side of the garage, Pecco.
I don't know.
I don't think people are still going on that Mark is living in Pecco's head, right? This is bigger than Mark, right? Because every other fucking Ducati rider is beating him, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not.
And it's
So
not the bike either. People start saying there's cracks. It's not. It's not the bike. It's Pecco. Period.
I don't think so. I think he's lost his feel. But I've been looking at this for the past couple of weeks, and I was trying to go back to see what is the story with it, right? And if you actually cast your mind back, Pecco lost the feel at the GP24 just before the summer break last year.
Yeah.
And if you remember, in Misano last year at the test, he was screaming and absolutely screaming at Ducati to give him the new chassis update to go fight Martin for the title. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I was about to say that. Yes.
Right, and this is why so for me, when I'm looking at it, he's lost it. He lost it then. It's just got worse and worse and worse. And this is why he's come back.
I don't think it was Ducati. I think there was him. His head somewhere along the line was not.
But I think but I think he's just lost his feeling. You lose the feeling, you lose the confidence. Do you know what I mean? And that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then you're putting this out onto.
Yeah, but if it was the bike, everybody would be losing their feel. Everybody would lose the confidence.
No, that's where I disagree. You see, because what's happened? Every other rider, barring Franco Morbidelli, came from a 23 onto their current spec of the bikes.
Okay.
All right, so they all went from.
They never touched the 24, so they went from 23 to 25, and they're not experienced.
And what's happened is that there's a remarkable change from the 23 to the 25 to give them confidence, or the 24, because Alex Marquez is going on the 24. But again, they've come off the bike that the 23, which was a pile of shit, to be fair, right? It was. People didn't get on with it. Like, what was it? Morbidelli was on a 24 last year.
I don't know if you can call it a piece of shit, since it was, but still, the 23 was still better than any other manufacturer.
Compared to what is out there now,
yeah.
You know, the 23 was
TV. We lost you.
Yeah, so they come off the 23, which in MotoGP terms, comparing to the 25, was a pig, right?
Yeah.
Like, or the 24. Like Dici Antonio said, that the 25 is the best bike he's ever ridden, and there is night and day difference between that and the 23, right? So for me, when I'm looking at it, right,
you say he said the 25 is the best bike he ever ridden?
Yeah, he's on a 25. Did you?
Yeah. Oh, did you? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So then Alex Marquez was on the 23 and went to the 24, right? Which is
right.
Is sorted. Fermain obviously is new, and Franco is still on the 24. So
I have a question for you, though. Okay, before I get out. Here comes 26. Can they change that over to a 24 chassis in 26?
They can. It's not about the chassis. It's not just about the chassis, because there's a couple of differences, especially within the 2025 spec. The 2025 spec, she drops lower in the rear ride height. Do you know what I mean? And there's some other fundamental positioning of the engines and stuff like that in the 25 to 24, right? So it's not a simple case of bolting an exact 24 chassis onto a 25 engine.
Well, let's put it this way. Can they get there from here within the rules?
They can, of course. Next year, they can upgrade the GP24 to be a 26. Yeah, 100%. But like the thing that keeps going in my mind, right? Alex Marquez isn't a patch on Marc Marquez, right? But in the first half of this season, Alex fairly leveled him in results, in that two of them were down the road on everyone else, right?
Yeah.
And people openly who have ridden the 24 believe that the 24 bike is better handling than the 25 bike, right? It's easier to ride, right?
People are saying, yeah.
What the fuck would happen if Marc was on the 24? If Marc was on a 24, he would probably be destroying everyone, probably similar or more.
More, yeah.
Probably more, because they'd have a year's worth of data that they can already use in the factory team. Now, it was interesting, Marc. All right, so I did read an article, and they're like, Pecco Bagnaia's wish has been granted by Ducati, and they put him on a GP24 this weekend. Anyone obviously who knows MotoGP knows that can't happen because of the engine and all of that. But the engine and the electronics and the rear ride height and all of this in the 25 are completely different to the 24. So you can't literally just go right? And the engine, I believe, mounts slightly differently in the 25 to the 24.
Right. Then they can't switch the engines.
But they can't
And
switch
like,
in.
just to clear this up, Mark and Pecco they're on the exact same bike, right? There's no
So yeah,
25
so
chassis, 24 this, 25
and
that.
I think this is where Pecco's problem is really coming in. Pecco doesn't like to ride the bike with a long swing arm. Mark prefers to ride the bike with a long swing arm. Now, the minute that you extend the swing arm, you cure an awful lot of issues, right? But again, this comes down to feel, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's stability.
yeah, so like you've better braking, you've better turning in the slow corners, but on fast corners, then it's dodgy, right? But again, that comes down to feel, and this, like, one of the things that I look at, and I've looked at quite a lot, is if, and I'll go back to like a point that I raised. I don't think Mark is in Pecco's head. I think Pecco is in his own head, right? And Pecco cannot figure out what the fuck is going on. Why can he not get his feel? Why can he not adapt his writing style? And I think this is actually a necessary growth for Pecco, right? And every rider has to learn how to be able to reinvent themselves when they get onto a different bike or this, that, and the other. And I know a lot of people are talking like Pecco is done. Listen, lads, you do not lose your fucking talent overnight. That just doesn't fucking happen, right?
He's right. They have to make some type of an adjustment. They don't have to reinvent themselves, but they have to make some adjustments.
Yeah, but look, like, there's always this thing is like, a fighter that's never lost is sometimes a fighter that's never learned. Do you know what I mean? And a hiding and a humbling like he's getting off of Mark at the moment is probably, but it's not just that he's getting a hiding off Mark. He's getting a hiding off every other fucking Ducati rider, and therefore that says to me, Mark is the least of Pecco's problems. Do you know what I mean? Pecco's fundamental problems is I cannot ride this bike the way I want to ride this bike. That's the fundamental problem. And as I said, the reason that he's got so pissed off now is that he's been battling this for a year. We mentioned, it was so after or just before the summer break last year, he was complaining about the front end of the Ducati. He's still complaining about the front end of the Ducati, and that's why he's getting nasty. Well, not nasty, but he's saying he's losing patience.
He doesn't have more frustration and pouting and pissing around and throwing things.
But see, that's the other side of the coin, and that's where I've looked at it, right? Like, if you look at behind the scenes, right, you see there's still a good relationship and good respect there between himself and Mark. And I'll give you an example. At the Austrian Grand Prix, there was Marc Marquez going up, speaking with Pecco's mom and dad. Do you know what I mean? Shaking hands. They shook hands with Pecco. So, like, and if you're in any way sort of, that fucking prick is taking my goal, that fucking prick is doing this, that. If there's any ill feeling, you would never shake their fucking hand. One, right?
Especially the parents.
You never shake their hand, unless you were on mainstream camera, right? This wasn't mainstream camera. And secondly, you wouldn't let your parents anywhere fucking near them, right? So, and this is not the first time that we've seen it in that relationship. So, for me, there's no inter-team fight, and he's not in his head. Pecco was talking there recently, and he's like, he's trying to learn from every one of them. But majority of them, like, and this weekend, it's fair to say that every other Ducati rider gave Pecco a hiding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's into Pecco is like, what do you need to do to learn how to ride this bike the way it is? Or do you put this year down to fucking a bad experience and go to a GP24 next season? Like, realistically, that's what it is. And people are already turning around and saying, oh, Ducati are going to drop Pecco, right? Firstly, Pecco has a contract till the end of 2026, right? And they're not really going to exit that clause, right? The worst thing that could happen next year is that they give everyone works equipment, right? Probably everyone will probably get a GP25, or you will choose to remain on the same bike. That's what I think will happen. The other side of the coin, right? And I mean this in a respect, is that Gigi and Davide Torazzi, they are not afraid of making hard decisions. And if this continues into next year, into the middle of next year, yeah, I have no doubt that they would look at getting rid of Pecco, right?
Right.
Because they're a race team. They're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be loyal. If someone is underperforming,
Right, exactly.
they're not. But the other thing that I would say about Davide, especially Davide, is that Davide doesn't give a fuck as long as Ducati wins, right? He doesn't. Like, I can guarantee you today, if Franco Morbidelli won the race today, right, we would have seen, right, VR46 celebrating, and in the middle of VR46 team, who would be there? Davide Torazzi. Like, it's the fucking greatest thing in the world. And if next week Alex Marquez won, he would be in he wouldn't be in his own garage. Do you know what I mean? He'd be down there celebrating with the boys for the win. So for me, I'm always like, well, you know, Davide just doesn't care as long as the Ducati wins. Gigi will, of course, go down and celebrate and whatnot, but he's normally very quiet and in the back. Do you know what I mean? But whereas Davide would always be out the front. So for me, realistically, if it does continue into next year, yeah, I would assume that they would remove Pecco if he wasn't performing this time next year.
David Tardassi always seems like the
he's a legend. Don't get me wrong.
He always seems like the uncle that's just stopped by. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
looks like a person of power.
He does, though. He has an awful lot of power. Like, do you know what I mean? He does. He definitely does. Like, and there's talk.
I'm getting all excited. I just think about it.
But he just loves. He's a racer, and he just fucking loves motorbike racing. And
I remember him as a racer.
Yeah. But the thing I kept thinking about for the past couple of weeks, though, was we all know that they re-signed Pecco very early last year, and then they kind of left themselves in a conundrum about Martin and all of this and Marc and whatnot. And then I got to thinking, like, let's just say last year they didn't have anyone signed. They didn't sign Pecco and whatnot. Well, they would have probably removed Pecco because Martin was winning, and they probably would have kept Martin because he was the one that was distinctly, clearly winning last year. And that that they had the opportunity with Marc. I genuinely think the signing of Marc was Claudio Domenicali, who was the main boss of Ducati. Is it Claudio? I think Claudio Domenicali. I think he said Marc, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think the other two actually had a choice. I think that was more of a business case than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's
so for me, so that put them into the predicament. Like, and I think Ducati would have been Jorge Martin and Marc Marquez this year had they not signed Pecco early, because Pecco's performance tailed off in the middle of 2024, and this is why he's getting so pissy now, is because it's a year he's battling this thing. And I know people are talking about there's frustrations within Ducati and the results and all of this, and there is, but also, you know, I suppose if you look at how Pecco was brought into the championship, he was a Ducati, baby. Do you know what I mean? And they brought him through it. And
people forget that he teared off last year, okay, in the middle of last year, because of all the Martin discombobulation. They forgot it. It made that old news. You know what I mean? People were concentrating on Martin's screwing up.
Yeah. Look, I just think, I think Pecco just needs to reinvent himself, reinvent how he goes racing, how he goes riding. Like, I think it's really like, and again, as people are saying, Marc is in his head. He's not. I can guarantee you, he's not. If Marc was in his head, there'd be no relationship between them. If Marc was in his head, you know, he would only be worried about what Marc is doing, and he's not. He's looking at what everyone else is doing on those bikes to try and figure out how the fuck to ride this. Do you know what I mean?
You know something different? I wonder if Bez is into Martin's head or vice versa.
No. Like Martin is still too young in on the bike to be any relevance really. So, like Martin has the raw speed and he's very dangerous in qualifying, but understanding the race pace yet of that bike, he's still learning. Do you know what I mean? No, he did a great job today. To be fair to him, I think he was on the medium tire as well, though, so it kind of played into his thing. Bez was on the soft tire, but again, you know, realistically for Martin, he is looking at the rest of the season as a test. You know, he's getting to understand that bike, especially because I think Aprilia have another step or so to go. Because next year, technically, by the end of this year, we should have the final versions of what those bikes are going to be, and that's what they're going to run next year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and like it is a great question. If you took Alex Marquez off the GP25 and you put Pecco back on on that GP24, which is a wholehearted GP24, what would we see? And like Pecco was very frustrated after the Austrian Grand Prix. He finished 12 seconds behind his race winning time the previous year. So he's 12 seconds slower over a race, I think. So that tells me, you know, he cannot ride with the confidence that he can. And that's where he was frustrated. And there was a lot made of what's his name is Tardazzi gave an interview and it's like, oh, Pecco needs to change his attitude. But actually what was meant by that was Pecco needs to change his approach on how to get this better. Do you know what I mean? Because what he's getting is he's getting frustrated now, and he can't be getting frustrated, because if you're frustrated, it's just going to lead to more frustration and problems. But
he's going to have to change something, though. You can't fix a problem by continuing to do the same thing you normally do.
You can't, exactly, but that's where it comes to the reinvent yourself, how to relearn how to ride a bike the way the bike needs, not what you need. And you know, we saw this with Marc on the GP23, right? But he cracked it a couple of times, but he couldn't consistently crack it. Do you know what I mean? So it is a weird one. And then they went from the proverbial pig of the GP23 to the 25s and the 24s. And there's not one person that was on a GP23 that hasn't immediately gone with with their new bike. So it just kind of shows you what's going on. But saying that, you know, yeah, it's going to be a rough and tough one for Pecco. He needs to sort it out. Marco Bezzecchi, yeah, I thought he was really good today. Again, you're never always 100% sure though with Bez. Is he going to turn up or is he not going to turn up? Like if you looked at him in Austria and you looked at him here, you know, definitely in FP1, you were like, he can't make a fucking apex. Like, do you know what I mean? Struggling to dial things in. But then when it gets serious, you know, he's down there. Acosta today was really good. I actually thought in today's race he was going to do what he did in the sprint and throw it up the road, because he was getting frustrated.
A lot of crashes. This seemed like there were a lot of crashes.
There was a good few crashes. I suppose the weirdest one for me actually was Raul Fernandez crashed, and then Joan Mir just went gravel sympathy with him and just crashed as well. So next to him is just like, hey. But now I suppose those things do happen. Joe, someone crashes in front of you, takes your eye, and away off you go. But I thought it was it's a strange racetrack, and you know, there's a couple of things that annoyed me. Like I've no doubt that you saw Pedro Acosta's bike hitting the cameraman in the crash yesterday, and I'm like, you know, that's one of my my pet peeves is like the bike should never reach the barriers. Like, do you know what I mean? And there you go. But I also think Bastianini's crash today, right? highlights the danger of this circuit, right? Like there's always those freak accidents that can happen, and I get it. Do you know what I mean? But like we saw with Bezzecchi today, like he went through the chicane, he came out the other side and onto the middle of a live racetrack where thing. And the difference between these freak accidents can happen. I think there is an accident waiting to happen, and it's very, very different. Do you know what I mean? Because like Bastianini, but he was absolutely fucking haunted. No one touched him. Like haunted. No one touched him. And like no one wants to roll over someone. We saw it with Pecco in
Catalonia.
Catalonia.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
We don't want to repeat of that. Like, we got away with that. But yeah, I thought like overall, I thought it was an okay race weekend. I was kind of, if I'm honest, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more from it. The fact that it was going to be new, and it was pretty well supported. I think there was like 80,000 fans there over the course of the race weekend, which isn't bad to be fair. But I think it's if you're looking for an exciting race, it's definitely not the place to go.
Yeah, it looks like the fans. I don't know if that was. It had to be like the real noise of the crowd when they saw Bez and Marquez like going back and forth.
Yeah. There, like you could hear the interaction of them, but again, I just think,
circuit wise, it's not the best.
Yeah, it's not the best layout for the big bikes. For the smaller bikes, I thought the racing was okay. Do you know what I mean? But the big bikes, I think, there's too much new school technology in on them. Do you know what I mean? Like if they had no aero and no rear ride height, it would be a fun, interesting circuit. More so survive and try not to launch yourself to the fucking moon. Do you know what I mean? Sort of race. But
so it should be better in what 27. It should be better.
No, you see, because like again, like I don't even think it's going to be there in 2027. Like if they're reaching the barriers now, and I don't think there's a lot that they can do with the barriers, then higher speeds going through the corner is going to be a problem there. The Hondas, I was very surprised with the Hondas, to be fair, this weekend. I was very, very surprised. Luca Marini had some good weekend. 5th place today in today's race. I can't remember what he did yesterday, but
great job, Honda. Giving a Honda shout out.
Yeah, you can see though their weak points still, like the engine, like, you know what I mean? You're just looking at they're just getting killed. And I do always find it very funny because there was one thing Honda used to always be known for, which was their engine. Do you know what I mean? That they did make good horsepower. No, they just don't. Do you know what I mean?
Stopped.
But saying that, look, they're 5th place. You know, when you look at it, right?
But it's a survival race too. So because when you have survival races, you have more of a tendency to get the come from behinders. To have a good day.
True, but like, right, you have a Ducati, a KTM, and 2 Aprilias in front of you, right? There's a lot of fucking Ducatis behind you, kid. A lot of Ducatis, which are the global fucking standard of bikes. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, you're 100% right.
KTMs too. Aprilias, KTMs, and Ducatis. You got to fight.
I thought KTM would do well because they have the horsepower and acceleration.
Yeah, but if you can't get it to the fucking ground, it's just no good for you.
I'm assuming, but I'm going to assume that they're trying to get as much as they're getting some to the ground. It's the same situation everybody else.
I would have thought this would be a bad track for KTM because it's so small.
But, the acceleration. Remember, Max said that he didn't know that they were going to go down in this sixth gear.
Yeah,
that's what made me think. Now, that's what made me think. Okay, so they're going to have a good day compared to everybody else because they get that acceleration horsepower. It's hard to get acceleration takes horsepower. It sucks it up. Okay.
But see, the problem is though, right? In this day and age, the tires are the limitation, right?
Yeah.
Let's be fair. Michelin aren't developing the tires now anymore, right?
Yeah.
So you can accelerate, and that tire will give it to you, right? But the more you fucking do it, the more you're destroying that tire. So I think an awful lot of those bikes were detuned this weekend, and it was a matter of like how far can you detune it
to get grip?
To get grip. And like you could see, like for example, Austria was a real good example of their strength in acceleration, right? Because it wasn't tearing the shit out of the tire. The track surface wasn't brand new. The edges were taken off the tarmac and that, so like your tires would last a little bit longer. But like in the sprint, the tires didn't degrade at all here. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of bikes could have gotten a lot faster. Like you look at it, Marc, I think he was like running around in 28 twos today. Do you know what I mean? And then at the end, like he put in a 27 on the last lap. Like, and it just showed that like he had an awful lot of performance, whereas the KTMs and the Aprilias and that they didn't have anything left towards the end. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think they have definitely improved their low speed handling or low to medium speed handling on the KTM. And you could see it in Austria, and it kind of makes sense to me that we've seen a drastic jump forward in their performance, because they now have financial guarantees from Baja, right? Do you know what I mean? So they can start developing again. So that happened, what, 6-8 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So yeah, so like you would be expecting that they're bringing new parts, new development parts, or understanding or have understood what the problem is, and just getting those parts put through and done, and the R&D and the sign off and all that. So for me, yeah, I think we'll see a strong KTM towards the end of the season, and they have to.
Look now, like, I read in a couple places where the CEO of Baja said to hate racing.
Yeah, he does. And then he actually went to a race in Brno, and Acosta got a podium there or something. And then he was like, I understand it now. You know, it's a really good thing to do. So there's no financial problems. And Baja have turned around and said, we want to make sure they keep racing. So KTM will keep racing. The biggest problem for KTM at the moment is their title sponsor. And there is rumors, right? And there's never smoke without fire, right? But there is rumors that Red Bull could be pulling out.
Really? Christ, I didn't think Red Bull pulled out anything.
They pulled out of Honda, and apparently they're going back to Honda.
It's Red Bull tiddlywinks today, you know.
Yeah.
I don't even find these guys.
I don't know what's going on with Red Bull, but yeah, they're pulling out.
So apparently, but obviously KTM have come out and said, "Oh no, that's not happening," which is what you expect for when something could be happening or could not be happening. You know, it's one of those things. But yeah, I think look, there's no smoke without fire, and something is going down.
Especially Formula One. If you're pulling out a Formula One, that's
No, they're not pulling out a Formula One. They're just pulling the Red Bull sponsorship from KTM.
Okay, just KTM.
Yeah. So now again, they've heavily denied it. Fabio Quartararo, he had a bit of a fuck up on the sprint.
Yeah.
He's struggling bad.
He is. And like the rumors are starting now is like Fabio might forego his financial thing to get a bike, and I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go again, all of this shit, like, you know, and we do need to clear stuff up. Yes, Marc paid to get out of his Honda contract, right? No, he did not ride for free in Gresini. He was paid, not 20 million.
Right.
But a couple of million. Right. He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Okay. But he understands
differentiate
his
I'm talking about Marc.
His mark, yeah. So he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he has a good team around him as well who would never just turn around. He probably would have ridden for free, but his team around him were like, I'm not going to let you ride for free. Why? Because you're going to sell millions in merch for Grassini and the people that you're joining and all of this, yada, 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 yada. So you can get a couple of million anyway, cover all of your expenses, your team's expenses, and all of this, and make a few quid, and then go and enjoy your racing, right? Realistically, that's what it is.
And Marc Marquez has lived within his means. So he had a regular house, regular cars, blah, blah, blah. He didn't have this big nut behind him.
Well, yeah, no. So I've done some investigating into Fabio Quartararo.
Okay.
And he doesn't own half of the shit that you believe that he owns.
Yeah, let's get the real.
Yeah, because that's what they're saying out there. I mean,
Fabio is friends.
Don't believe me. Go out and get through you see on the internet throughout the thing, you know.
So Fabio is very good friends with some very, very wealthy people. So, for example, on his winter or his summer break, you know, Fabio was seen on a yacht, and everyone was like, "This is Fabio's yacht." It's not Fabio's yacht. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's one of Fabio's friends. Yes, Fabio is into his fashion and he likes nice things, right? But he doesn't. I can guarantee you, he does have a decent lifestyle. He doesn't have the full Monaco lifestyle. Okay, and to be fair, the full Monaco lifestyle is what people have believed that he's been living, but he doesn't live anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I read he had two houses on the Riviera. He said
they could be fucking shacks for all we know.
Yeah, I think there is such a shack. But I read he had a supercar collection. So I mean,
you can have two supercars, and that's a collection.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Look, I don't think he's living a 20 million a year spend lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Far from it. I think he's a couple of million, yeah, and he's making about a couple of million on top of it and whatnot. But again, all these things are coming up. It's like, oh, he's going to forgo his enormous Yamaha salary to go win races, right? Let's be genuinely honest with this. Where is available next year for Fabio to go?
Okay. Aprilia
and KTM or Honda.
Both factory seats are full.
It had to be satellite.
Yeah. Is he going to go and be Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi's number 3? No.
That's what Marquez did.
Huh?
Marquez took a back seat.
Marquez was talking about ending his career, and he was giving this one last shot to go. That's the difference. Fabio is not talking about the end of my career. Fabio's talking about, I want to go win races.
Yeah.
And every single one of them know to win races, realistically, you got to be on factory equipment.
Yeah.
How many races did Mark win in the Grassini bike?
0.
No, he won. He did win.
Yeah.
Was it 1?
1 or 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but to win a world championship, which is what Fabio wants, right? He doesn't give a fuck about winning 1 or 2 races.
Yeah, he wants the whole enchilada.
That's better than none. That's better than 0.
So, yeah, but realistically, if you tie in now, you go to Aprilia, Trackhouse Racing, they're not going to give you a 1-year deal. Fabio Quartararo 1 year.
No.
KTM Fabio Quartararo 1 year. Like technically, KTM could take him and remove Binder, right?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
But then they'd want to sign him for a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 year deal.
Yeah.
And that puts him out of sync then. So he throws his leg over. He finds what Bastianini found. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know. And then you're going into 27, and then there's no guarantees of what's happening. Whereas, let's put it this way: you do another year, you give a V4 a chance, just say, And then you watch what's going on with the testing next year of the new style, and you will get a good understanding from the field of where everyone is.
Yeah, and let's face it, the 27 bike is going to dominate. More than likely, is going to be the Ducati. Again, they're the strongest engineering team. They're going to start from scratch.
It should be.
Yeah,
it should on paper. And in using common sense, yes, it should be, right? Because realistically, Ducati is the only team that would be able to race next year and not develop their bike, their current bike.
Yeah.
So they should be putting it through. But saying that, you could be like Honda and say, right, this year's goosed. Do you know what I mean? We're not focusing on this year at all. Your bike at the start of the season is going to be your bike till the end of the season. Now, if we fall a second behind, we fall a second behind. But why would we throw good money after bad?
Right.
So look, it's interesting. There's also some rumors around that Fabio is supposed to ride the V4 at Misano. Now,
and they did say. Remember, I was saying at the long shot, I said the Yamaha factory representative said we want Fabio on a good bike. We were waiting for him to ride this V4 when it's good.
Yeah. But saying that, I don't think it's going to. Well, I would be very surprised if they roll it out for Misano race weekend. I think the 2 tests after Misano. So there's Misano Monday test, and then there's a Pirelli test on the Wednesday after Misano. And I think that's when Fabio will ride the V4. I think it's far too risky to bring it straight into a race weekend. I think they give it to Jack, give it to Miguel for a race weekend. Probably give it to Miguel.
Jack, he would have to stay, wouldn't he? They wouldn't give him something new that he's on the way out.
I think Jack. Yeah, I think Jack is staying. To be honest, like there's been rumors for ages, and I believe I thought he was going to go to the factory team actually because he's way outperformed Rins, and apparently the Japanese are going to be very loyal to Rins and they're going to keep him for another year. And they're going to move, and I think it's and Miguel Oliveira is gone.
Of course,
is my understanding.
Top Rack,
and there'll be Top Rack and Jack in the thing. Apparently, that's the announcement, and that's coming either this week or next week.
I feel like y'all. I get that they're very, meticulous as far as making changes and even with riders, even with technology, engineering.
But it's kind of a Japanese way. Do you know what I mean? And it is. You see it with Honda as well. They're like Honda. Like the perfect example of that was what. Do you remember when Ducati came out in 2022 with the Stegosaurus wings in Silverstone? Do you remember that? And the things were fucking tech riveted onto the fucking back of the bike, and they were as flimsy as fuck.
You got the biggest kick out of that too.
It looked like mine, yeah.
Yeah, but I was just like, that literally came off the 3D printer, right? Some mechanic was like, given those and said, put them on the fucking back of it. Do you know what I mean? He's like, how do these mount? And they're like, make it fucking up. Like, do you know what I mean? So there's your man. He just fucking drilled some fucking things onto it. And their mindset was, let's see if this works. And if it falls off and breaks, we'll just print another one.
That's the winning pedigree. You got to
we'll make it a little bit thicker. Do you know what I mean? And print another one. Whereas if that went through the process cycles of Honda and Yamaha, that would have to be. It would take 3 months, 4 months to do a job that it would take 2 hours, 3 hours to do, because Ducati and Aprilia to a certain extent, and even KTM to another point, had the thing of like, if an engine blows up, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the Japanese would be like, do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, or like failure is a part of development, and it's okay if a failure happens. Do you know what I mean? Now, on certain things, right? Like, for example, like life-threatening things. Now, that's not a thing, but like putting a winglet on a bike. Like, I'll give you for example, right? One of the things I've always hated about aero is that I said people are going to be nearly craned onto the bike because of all these fucking winglets, right? And you look at the current Aprilia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has the winglets now coming out of the back of the seat. Jorge Martin fell, and when he was trying to get off the bike, his leg and his boot got caught in the wing, and it fucking dragged him with the bike.
Oh, anybody, that can happen to anybody, though. I mean, come on.
No.
On the back of the bike at time to time.
Yeah, but there's a wing. There's a wing there, just where your foot would come off the back of the bike, not the Stegosaurus, not up high at the saddle section. If you go back and you look at the crash, you will see that wing pulled him into the gravel with the bike. Normally, when you fall, you push the bike away. He couldn't get the bike away.
Wayne. He can,
They had to re-engineer it so that it breaks away.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they'd have to do something, because it's one of those things where, like, how so. Well, obviously now 2027.
Us young guys like our wings, and wings are fitting things. You know,
wings everywhere.
Yeah.
Listen,
Red Bull get wings.
We want so many wings that's gonna say Pan Am on the side.
Yeah, well, the only thing wings should be on now is a fucking airplane, or fucking period pads, one or the other. Do you know what I mean? But not on fucking motorbike saddles. I don't. And CB, I know you put Stegosaurus wings on your bike, right? And yeah. Me, I would shit in my hands and clap before I would dare even.
Before you put some Stegosaurus.
Yeah. You know, that's not how the bike is supposed to look. Mm-hmm. And it's an R7, isn't it?
yeah. So it's just for show, a little.
Tell us, CB.
Little talking piece,
Yeah.
Little talking piece. And how did you put them on? Did you just
just like Ducati? You put a hole in there, and you.
So you destroy your bike to put on a piece of shit onto it, is it? Yeah.
It looks good. Makes it modern.
Modern.
Yeah, my buddy on my Ducati had the wings on there. He goes, "Oh, that looks good. I didn't notice them before. I swear to God, last night."
What, Ducati?
Yeah, what? Stegosaurus wings on this Ducati?
No, in the back it has two holes and wings on the back of a Ducati. I didn't put them on. They were there.
Look, I'm all for personalizing your bike, but I don't know. You're not going to go fast enough to actually use them. I am a very for.
Oh no, I'm the first one to say my bike's on the street.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, well, so I believe Jack will continue on. Miguel is gone.
Who the hell are going to put in the World Superbike if Jack's going to go stay on the?
Jake Dixon apparently is going to go to that Honda seat.
In World Superbike?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the whole they don't have any competition. It's going to be Bugala for the whole year.
I heard Polo Spagro was supposed to go partner Bulaga.
Really? Well, still, yeah. I'm wondering when are they going to put the 2025 the double swing arm model in the World Superbike?
They're testing it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, and it is an interesting thing, because one of the things that I know you were moaning about, Jake, is that the Superbike times, the Superbikes will be just as fast as MotoGP on the new regulations.
And it ain't moaning; it's realistic.
No, it's moaning, because it's not going to be realistic. So, because they're now owned by the same firm and always work well, and my understanding is that they're going to derate the Superbikes.
Oh, so they make the Superbike slower. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
Yeah, I think they're just going to make it, trying to bring it back more to stock class. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is again, but you see, all bikes now are fuel injected, so they can just reduce the fuel rate.
Turn it down the bar. Yeah,
that's it. That's it. That's how they'll do it, and that was always the plan.
Kiss horsepower goodbye.
Yep. Yeah, no more
Everybody's shutting
specials.
it down.
Yeah, no more special. Well, sorry, there still will be specials, but no more specials.
Oh, like the M1 or like a R1M or like a
Well, yeah, like the Ducatis
Superleggera or
and
something.
Well, they all have one. Yeah.
no, they'll all have like the Superleggera and the one that runs in Superbike are completely different.
Superbike, is that a V4R?
It's a V4R, yeah. But the model of the V4R that is homologated to run in World Superbikes is not a Leggera, Superleggera. It's a
Because of the
Superleggera.
wings and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it will. They're just going realistically. They're just going to detune it. It was actually asked in a press conference because one of the things here, and it was kind of a telling thing where Marc Marquez's pole and Toprak's pole, the difference was 1.8 seconds here.
What is all that about? I kept seeing that for weeks. Is they're comparing the top rack time with Marc Marquez's time, and
yeah, that's for this weekend's pole positions. That what they're looking at is they're looking at the current time difference between
bikes and classes.
Yeah, so like I think Superbikes and MotoGP, there's only a couple of tenths of a second between them and Portimao. Like it's minimal. Do you know what I mean? And then you're looking at a budget of 100 million and for fucking 1.8 seconds. Like, do you know what I mean? Just shows you, but it just shows you the rapid development as well, though, of the Superbike class. And like the bike that Toprak rode or rides compared to another fella that's just bought a BMW, right? They're nowhere near the same bike. Nowhere near. Do you know what I mean? I'd say even the fairings are different. The slight differences in the setup of the fairings. Do you know what I mean? Compared to the road bikes. So I don't know. I think they're going to bring Superbike back to what Superbike was supposed to be, not one-off bikes or not one throw. I think is it for the homologation, and I know I could be wrong on this, but I think it's homologation of 500 bikes.
Yeah, I think it's 500.
Yeah, I think you have to sell 500 bikes.
I don't say it. Yeah, I'm not for or against. It's like if they all make the homologation bike, that's fine. You know.
But that's how we get the bike, though. Is that they have to homologate it. That's how we get it.
Yeah.
No, incorrect.
No.
So I'll go back to what I just said again. The V4R type that Buliga and them ride, they're the V4R specials. They're not the V4R.
Not regular V4Rs.
No, they're the special version of it. So there is a special version of that. There's a special version of the BMW. There's a special version of the Yamaha R1, which is in the Kawasaki, and all of this. There's special versions like the Honda as well, CBR or double R or triple R or whatever the fuck it is.
Triple R or whatever.
There's a special version of that as well, and that's what it is.
Which is a bike that just came out that's 20 years old.
The new one.
Yeah.
I'd say they just put a massive fart can on it the way off they went. You know. Now look, I'll be honest, it's good to see them coming back.
The fucking thing still costs $20-some thousand.
Of course it does.
More than that.
Sorry, Jexer boys, save your money. You know, it's not worth that. Having a 20-year-old new bike that's, you know.
It's a flex. It's to be like, hey, I have this special version that you don't have.
What is that? A brand new one? New red flavor because they haven't had it in years. Yeah, look, for me, it makes. But look, I guess, I suppose the other side of the coin, right? Look, there's people out there, and that are Honda heads, Ducati heads, Suzuki heads, and they won't look at buying another bike unless the brand has a fucking bike there, right? And there's thousands of Suzuki fans around the world, thousands. Like Suzuki is quite big here in Ireland, so like I think there's only I think there's only one, maybe two Yamaha dealers in the whole of Ireland, in Southern Ireland. There's one Ducati dealer who will charge you absolute arm and a leg for fucking anything. But you know what I mean? So there's a couple of Honda dealers, but they tend to sell everything Honda: cars, bikes, boats, engines, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's. I think it's a good thing that Suzuki are relaunching the bike, because that will mean that they will have to at some stage come back to some sort of motorsport, which is always good. And
wings on it.
Yeah, but look, for fuck's sake, everything now has to have fucking wings. Like, whereas us normal road riders are never going to fucking use it, but you're going to go, oh, look at my wings, I'm a fucking birdie. You know what I mean? Yeah. You go play with your wing, polish your wings there. I'll just go ride my fucking bike and enjoy myself. Not wondering, oh, how many points of downforce am I getting off my wings? Oh, I'm on doing 34 miles an hour.
Without the wings, you can't sell the exact same bike. And it's basically the exact same bike. It just has wings on it.
Yeah, it's the Suzuki's
a sell it as new.
Incorrect. Honda are doing it. Honda are selling the exact same CBR 600.
Mm-hmm.
They just put a couple of wings in the front of it. Exact same bike.
Yeah, but is it 20-something thousand?
No, but it's like 15,000 for a 600.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So yeah, you can do it. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is exactly why Suzuki are doing it. Honda did it successfully by relaunching the 600. Do you know what I mean? That they took off the market because no one wanted to buy 600s anymore. Then Yamaha Yamaha continued to sell the R6. Then Yamaha decided to stop selling the R6. And then Honda were like, oh, gap in the market. Boom.
Yeah. When they stopped selling the R6, they still kept R6s for racing or something.
But they're still keeping R6s and R1s for racing. Yeah. But you have to buy them.
It's like 20. It was literally $19,800 or something, or 21.
They're incredibly expensive now because you have to buy them from G by TR or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they only want you to buy one bike, the R9, instead of an R1.
Yeah.
We can't buy a brand new R1 in Ireland or Europe.
But you can buy an R9?
Yeah. But why would I buy an R9?
Because you can't get the R1?
I just buy a second-hand R1.
No.
I still fucking enjoy that. Do you know what I mean?
Because you buy other than the R9. Yeah.
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 And you know me, I think I'm all for. You could go get a Triumph for, same money. It's a better bike. You
could get there's still a good few 600s and that around, or triples as well. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's just what you want to ride, how fast you want to go, where do you want to go, what's the thing. It's like I get it in the States. It's probably different where everyone's going straight for a leader bike, which is fine in kind of suburbs or city riding or link road riding. But if you go canyon carrying, or if you go trying to ride fast on a 1000cc bike in Ireland, you will hit the ditch. Like, the ditch will come fucking grab you.
1000cc, believe it or not, Superbike sales have gone up. All right, but only in the European brands. The European brands are
European brands are down 35% in the market.
Where did you hear that?
That came from what's his name? I sent you on the article. I was reading the deal.
It said it was singularly. They said it was road racing.
Yeah. In Europe, motorbike sales have fallen drastically.
This is the United States, but the sales of European bikes went up, and the Suzuki and the leader bikes for Japan went down.
Yeah, no. Is it 35? I can't remember. I remember reading it. I was like, oh fuck! I was like, then I was kind of like smiling because that means that there could be good deals coming on bikes in the next year or so when they're trying to get rid of all their models. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because when they're overstocked,
We'll get you to a Ducati one day.
I know, yeah, fucking hell. Well, I won't be buying. I won't be buying one anyway from the Ducati place in fucking Ireland. Anyway. Yeah.
Ireland, they fuck you on a deal.
Well, I need to find a Ducati in Northern Ireland that was Northern Ireland registered. That's the get out. Then you don't have to. You have to pay. You would then have to buy the bike and pay vehicle registration tax, which is legal under EU law, by the way. But the fine is less than what it brings in, so they get fined every. But if you bring it in from, there's better value in the UK. Like you can go over and pick up a bike with 2,000 miles on it in the UK, but when you bring it in, you're hit with registration tax, and then you're hit with VAT. So it's like 23% of what you buy it for, and then you're hit with another 1,500-1,600 quid on vehicle registration plus buying the bike. So it just does not worth it. Do you know what I mean? And then you have your man above then who knows that in Dublin, so he charges you just under the VAT rate, or what it would cost. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, yeah, it's just too fucking expensive. And then, you know, I don't know. I have a dream that I want to try and do in the next 3 or 4 years. I want to do it before I get too old to do it. And everyone will absolutely fucking laugh when I tell them. But I want. What is it?
It's that Joe Indian build.
Yeah, I want to build an Indian Larry bike, or an Exile Cycles bike. But yeah, it's all a bit fucking out there. Like, do you know what I mean? It's all like suicide shift, rigid bike, complete difference from what I would normally.
Believe it or not, they have the Harley just came out with a complete box engine, 135 cubic inches for $7 or $8 grand.
Yeah,
box engine.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to build an Indian Larry type bike, so real pared back bike. Probably kill myself off it though, if I'm honest. Or there's another company called, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, Exile Cycles.
Yeah, I have.
So there's a fella there. He's an English chap actually.
Yes.
Mad bastard. Really like him.
He looks like the guy from White Wedding.
He's nuts, like.
Yeah.
But he makes a trike. What's the name of the bike called?
Trike. I heard those things are roll. They roll.
Oh, they do, but this thing has Formula One tires on the fucking back of it. Like, do you know what I mean? What's the name of the trike? Let me just find it. It was on a biker build off, but there's fucking it's just pure. It's just, again, there's no bells and whistles. It's just
that made me think of these guys putting 1,000cc motors in dirt bikes and 4-wheelers and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my friend actually had a 600 Yamaha engine in a go-kart.
It does sound good.
Oh, it was brilliant, but it was just a fucking death trap. Like, do you know what I mean? You could see the chassis twisting and flailing. Do you know what I mean? But anyway,
put nitrous on
it. 250 horsepower and a super road glide with a supercharger on it.
Christ.
Best. I put all the best suspension on it I could, the whole 9 yards. You've seen them, the super baggers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, look, it's definitely something I want to do anyway. It's just build my own bike, so that's something that I built from start to finish. Don't really want to go down like building a kit bike. Do you know what I mean? But just kind of build my own thing, own flavor. But yeah, it's one of those things.
That's going to be on the other channel.
The bike build, yeah. Well, I was trying to get I went to speak to a couple of garages about doing some road tests on bikes, and there two said that they would be interested, and then I think one of them, the person left, and the other person won't fucking answer. So Prick.
You gotta do it
Are
yourself.
you home now?
Huh?
You home now?
No, not yet. Not yet. Anyway, I suppose, look, on that bombshell, we will wrap everything up, and we'll be back again next week for a bit more.
Sounds good.
No,
Same time, same bat channel.
that's
What do we have? When's the next race?
it. 2 weeks time.
2 weeks time.
Yeah. No, I'm back to back. I think anyway. I fucking hope. Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks. Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks.
I wish they would just run the races like bang, 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 bang,
Yeah,
bang.
back to back to back to back.
Yeah,
It's called summer break. You know what? It's a summer sport, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but again, look, like back to back to back to back to back, you're not leaving anyone any chance if they do injure themselves to come back. Yeah, so the next race is Catalonia, the 5th to 7th of September, so 2 weeks time. And then we have San Marino, where Marc Marquez could technically lift the title. 4 weeks away.
Probably will.
They might as well get ready for next year, everybody.
Yeah.
Yamaha, Honda.
Yeah.
Best buy and the best guy on the best bike.
Yep, that's it.
Definitely, yeah, for this year. Yeah, definitely. But you know, there's people. The only thing that I'm happy about, Marc has one hand and four fingers on the trophy, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad to see people are coming up through the, like with the likes of Bez, Acosta starting to get sorted. You know, maybe when the title is done, gloves will come off and there'll be some dirty racing then coming on. Do you know what I mean? But you know, I think Bez can only get stronger.
I just want a level playing field. None of this. I'm tired of the concessions, and the Japanese have to win at all costs. That's just getting on my nerves.
Yeah, but Jake, let's be fair, right? They brought in the concessions, and it's they
haven't even benefited from it.
They haven't.
That's their fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's my point. Like they were given an opportunity by the teams and Dorna to close that gap. Honda are doing quite well compared to Yamaha. Yeah, like Yamaha, in my view, are suffering the problem of developing two bikes at the same time, because they were.
You're a bit tough on Yamaha because you're a Yamaha fan. You're not a Yamaha fanboy. You're a Yamaha fan, and when you're a fan, you're tougher on them.
Well, yeah, I have a higher expectation on where it is, but like let's be very fair in this. You take Fabio Quartararo out of Yamaha, and they're fucking nowhere. Absolutely fucking nowhere. Like one person is carrying that, and that's the true potential of the bike. Like you look at where Jack Miller and all of them are, that's the potential of the Yamaha. The fact that Yamaha have one alien rider makes it look like, oh, they're doing something, right? But they're actually not, right? It's a Marc Marquez story on the Honda. The Honda was a piece of shit. No one else can ride it. No one can get results out of it.
It's looking like Honda's doing better than Yamaha now.
Yeah, it does.
Well, you can ride a Honda now for the most part, for most circuits. Do you know what I mean? They're getting towards the top 10s, and they're getting multiple people up there. You know, that's it. You know, Yamaha aren't doing it. You know, they're not consistently there. Like you look at their performance in Austria, it was just fucking dismal. Like what the actual fuck? Like, do you know what I mean?
They checked out.
Yeah, and then today's one, okay, he had the long lap from the mistake yesterday, but he still couldn't go forward. No, Pecco couldn't go forward. Do you know what I mean? Jack crashed. Miguel.
Renz is nowhere. Miguel is nowhere. Jack he's fighting, but he's nowhere.
He's fighting. Like, again, he's fighting, he's crashing, and at least you can say the fucker's pushing. You know?
He crashed and got back on and crashed again.
Right. And you have to give credit where credit is due. Rins, like in the yesterday's sprint race, he did get caught up in the Bastianini thing. So all right, give him a break. But like he is far below where he should be performing. Like take in a Moto 2 rider and give him the spot.
I feel sorry for Toprak. He's going from a winning bike to a bad bike.
Well, yes and no, right? Because before he threw his leg over that BMW, it wasn't the winning bike.
He made it look good.
Yeah, like he made the Kawasaki look good. He made the Yamaha look good. You know, he leaves, their performance goes down.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's going to leave BMW.
In World Superbike.
Is he going to like? Right, he's going to spend the first 3 quarters of next year getting used to the tires and all of this. Expect nothing from him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't. But again, I do see it's a good plan from Honda to build him into the future. Do you know, or from Yamaha to build him?
I was about to say, hold on, Honda. What the?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, to build him to the future. So for me, when I'm looking at it, yeah, but they probably need to bring up some young upstart as well.
Rookie.
Do you know what I mean? And like find another Fermin Aldegar, Pedro Acosta. Like there is 1 or 2 of them there that are showing, like that young chap, Alonso, David Alonso. There's another fella there, I can't remember his name. There's a couple there that you could maybe look at saying, okay, let's give you a shot. And like 27, 28 is probably not the years to bring young fellas into the class because they're rookies. You're trying to get mature riders that will be able and capable to give you feedback in developing the bike. Because that's going to be the first 2 years of the class, right? So feedback, development, that's all going to be the major important thing. Rather than having someone that's really fast or really new that crashes a lot. You know, so I don't know. I think it'll be interesting anyway. Okay, but on that bombshell, I'm really going to wrap up this time, and we will see everyone back here next week, and we'll have a bit of chat. I will actually have more news next week. I'll start trying to figure it out, but it is tough to come across news. Credible news, let's just call it. All right.
Peace out.